Hello everyone. This is a quick video to go through the file that I want you to look at for this week's exercise. First thing, I apologize for last week. I had you set up with an exercise in a data file, but no way to turn it in. I just realized that, so we'll fix that in all the other ones. In this one, what we're going to do is we're going to do an exercise with optimization. And so I'm going to explain the columns in the file that I'm sending to you and what I want you to do. The first, basically what this is it's a table that shows kind of the demand for calls and how long a customer sits on average in a queue waiting to talk to somebody. So the call flow table, the first column is actually the hours of the day. The second column is the number of calls that come into the sales queue by hour. So you see that at 7 o'clock, between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, we got 17 calls that came into the sales queue. The third column is the amount of time that an agent waits, or I'm sorry, that a customer waits to speak to an agent before the call is picked up. So it's basically your average hold time. We have a similar thing for service. For service, we have the number of service calls that come in each hour, and we also have the average amount of time that a customer will wait in queue before an agent picks up the call. A couple things about this organization. First off, there are queue goals. We don't want anybody in the sales queue to exceed 30 seconds. And it looks like we've got some problems here, right? They're exceeding 30 seconds, sometimes by quite a lot. In the service queue, we don't want them to exceed a minute waiting in queue. And again, we've got some issues. Some places where we're doing okay and some places where we have issues. All right. A sales agent typically can handle 6 calls an hour. So if you've got 17 calls coming in on average at 7 o'clock, you're going to need 3 agents. Okay. A service agent can only handle 4 calls per hour. So you can go ahead and do the math on the number of service agents that you're going to need for each one of these hours. The problem is that at the current staffing levels to cover these, we're finding that we're exceeding our call wait times. We are not able to meet our goals. So one last thing I'll tell you is on staffing, you have part-timers and full-timers in both queues. So a part-time agent will work a block of 4 hours and a full-time agent will work a block of 8 hours with a 1-hour lunch break. So they'll actually be present for 9 hours, but they'll only work 8 of those hours, and there's going to be a 1-hour lunch break somewhere stuck in there. What I would like you to do for this week is I would like you to, first of all, take a look at how things are currently playing out. The number of calls that are coming in by hour and what the average queue is. And then I would like you to come up with sort of an idea for staffing. But there's one caveat here. We want to keep the costs down, right? We don't want to just add staff. It'd be easy to do the division and figure out how many staff people you need and when you need them, and you just add them in. You don't want to add additional costs. So we're going to try to keep the costs down, but still try to optimize the service that we're providing, both on the sales line and service line staff, by driving the number down in the service queue. So this is where it's going to become kind of your own judgment. Our goal is 30 seconds in the sales queue. Our goal is a minute in the service queue. But where do we have the worst problems? And where do we have the biggest need? And where should we add staff? Keep in mind that a part-timer works 4 hours. So you can't just add a part-timer for 2 hours. That's part of the rules of this game, is you've got to add them for 4 hours. So where are you going to add your part-timers? Where you have your worst problem. And a full-timer costs you a lot more money. It costs you money in benefits that the part-timers don't get. It costs you a lot more money in staffing and wages. So with maximizing your service in your queues and minimizing your costs, give me an idea of the number of people you believe should be put per hour to manage the sales line and the service line by filling out these columns. All right. If you have any questions, you can always reach me by email, or you can actually call me. I think you all have my phone number. But I think this is going to be pretty clear, and I'm really interested to see what you come up with. One last thing I'll give you: don't just put staff on there to get you down to 30 seconds and 1 minute. Getting to 30 seconds and 1 minute, while that might be the goal, may not be the wisest thing to do because it will drive costs up too high. So what I want you to do is find where you've got the biggest problem and solve the biggest problems. Okay? All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.